The void of space stretched endlessly around the Coalition starship, the Resolute, as it glided silently through the vastness. The stars outside were cold and distant, their light flickering like ancient beacons in the dark. Commander Elara Voss stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the holographic display hovering before her. The map of the galaxy, with its swirling nebulae and scattered systems, was both familiar and foreboding. "Commander," Lieutenant Kale Rin's voice broke the silence, pulling Elara from her thoughts. He stood at the tactical station, his fingers dancing over the controls with practiced ease. "We're approaching the coordinates for the rendezvous. No signs of enemy activity so far." Elara nodded, her expression unreadable. "Keep scanning, Kale. The Xel'Naga Dominion won't let us slip through their net so easily." Kale's eyes met hers, a flicker of understanding passing between them. "Understood. I'll run a full-spectrum analysis." As Kale turned back to his console, Elara allowed herself a moment to consider the man she had come to rely on so heavily. His analytical mind was a rare asset, capable of predicting enemy movements with uncanny precision. Yet beneath that calm exterior lay a complexity she had yet to fully unravel, a complexity that mirrored the intricate web of alliances and rivalries they navigated daily. "Kale," she said softly, stepping closer. "I need you to trust me on this mission." He glanced up, surprise mingling with something else in his eyes. Skepticism, perhaps. "Of course, Commander. But trust works both ways." She studied him for a long moment before nodding. "You're right. Let's make sure we both earn it." Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime from Kale's console. "Incoming transmission from Dr. Leora Kale," he announced. "Patch her through," Elara instructed. The holographic display shifted to reveal Dr. Leora Kale's image. Her sharp features and keen eyes were softened by a halo of auburn hair that framed her face like a crown of fire. Despite her scholarly demeanor, there was an intensity about her that commanded attention. "Commander Voss," Leora began, her voice tinged with urgency. "I've completed my preliminary analysis of the artifact site. The readings are unusual." Elara leaned forward, intrigued. "Define unusual, Doctor." Leora hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "The energy signatures suggest the artifact is active, possibly even sentient. It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Kale exchanged a glance with Elara, his brow furrowing in thought. "Sentient? That changes everything." "Indeed," Leora agreed. "If it truly possesses consciousness, our approach must be cautious. We can't risk triggering an unknown response." Elara absorbed this information, her mind racing with possibilities and potential threats. The artifact was more than a simple relic. It was a wild card in an already volatile equation. "Thank you, Doctor," she said finally. "Your insights are invaluable. We'll proceed with caution and keep you updated on any developments." As Leora's image faded from the display, Elara turned to Kale once more. "Prepare the team for deployment. We need to secure that artifact before anyone else realizes its true nature." Kale nodded, his expression resolute. "I'll see to it personally." With that, Elara retreated to her quarters, seeking a brief respite from the weight of command. The corridors of the Resolute were quiet at this hour, the hum of machinery a constant companion in the silence. Inside her quarters, she sank into a chair and closed her eyes, allowing herself to feel the exhaustion that pressed down on her shoulders like a physical weight. Trust was a fragile thing in their world, earned through blood and sacrifice, but easily shattered by betrayal. A soft chime signaled someone at her door. She opened her eyes and called out for them to enter. It was Kale, standing just inside the threshold with an uncertain look on his face. "I wanted to talk before we land," he said. Elara gestured for him to sit across from her. "What's on your mind?" He hesitated before speaking, choosing his words with care. "I know there's more going on here than we're aware of, more than you've told me." She studied him intently, but said nothing. "I've been analyzing communication logs," he continued. "There's been unusual activity, encrypted transmissions originating from within our ranks." Her expression hardened at his revelation. "And you think we have a traitor?" "It's possible," Kale admitted reluctantly. "But I didn't want to jump to conclusions without concrete evidence." Elara considered this new information carefully, a dangerous puzzle piece falling into place within an already complex picture. "We'll investigate further once we secure the artifact," she decided aloud. "Until then, stay vigilant and keep this between us." Kale nodded solemnly before rising from his seat, his loyalty evident in every deliberate movement as he left her quarters behind. Alone once more, with only shadows for company, Elara felt tension coil tighter within her chest, a silent reminder of how precarious their situation truly was. The galaxy hung in balance upon razor-thin margins where trust could shift like sand beneath their feet, and where every decision bore consequences too great for any one person alone to bear. But as long as she drew breath upon these endless stars, as long as those under her command depended upon her strength, she would stand unyielding against whatever unseen threats awaited them beyond tomorrow's dawn. For now and always, it was enough simply knowing they faced such challenges together, united by duty boundless as space itself, driven forward toward uncertain futures, yet undaunted by fear's grasping shadows reaching ever outward toward infinity's edge. The darkness of space stretched endlessly beyond the viewport, a vast emptiness that seemed to swallow the light of distant stars. Commander Elara Voss stood with her hands clasped behind her back, her gaze fixed on the swirling nebulae outside the ship. The silence was deceptive, masking the tension simmering beneath the surface as they approached their destination. "Commander," Lieutenant Kale Rin's voice cut through the quiet, his tone as precise as ever. "We've entered the outer perimeter of the target system. All systems are functioning within optimal parameters." Elara turned to face him, her expression unreadable. "Good. Keep me updated on any changes in the sensor readings. We can't afford any surprises." Kale nodded, his eyes flicking back to his console. The bridge was a hive of activity, officers monitoring displays and issuing commands in clipped tones. Each member of the crew moved with practiced efficiency, a testament to the rigorous training that had brought them here. "Are you worried about the Xel'Naga?" Kale asked, his voice low enough to be drowned out by the hum of machinery. Alara's lips twitched in a faint semblance of a smile. "Worried? No. Cautious? Always. The Xel'Naga Dominion is not known for their subtlety." Kale leaned closer, lowering his voice further. "There's been chatter about a possible mole within our ranks. Have you heard anything?" Alara's expression hardened, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Rumors and paranoia are luxuries we can't afford right now, but keep your ears open. Any hint of betrayal needs to be dealt with swiftly." Kale nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. Trust was a rare commodity in times like these, and even a whisper of treachery could unravel everything they were working towards. "Commander Voss," a voice crackled over the comms, breaking the momentary silence. It was Dr. Leora Kale, their resident xenobiologist and an invaluable asset on this mission. "I've completed my analysis of the latest scans from the planet's surface." Elara tapped a button on her wrist communicator, opening the channel. "Go ahead, Dr. Kale." "The ruins are extensive," Leora began, her voice steady and calm. "I've identified several structures that appear to be temples or places of worship. The architecture is consistent with what we know of the ancient civilization that once inhabited this world." "And the artifact?" Elara pressed, her interest piqued. "There are indications it might be housed in one of the central chambers," Leora replied. "But I need more time to be certain. The inscriptions are complex, possibly encoding information about its function or significance." Elara nodded to herself, digesting the information. "Understood. Continue your analysis and keep me informed." As she closed the channel, Elara felt a familiar weight settle on her shoulders, the burden of command, of responsibility for every life under her charge. "Commander," Kale spoke up again, drawing her attention back to him. "Do you trust Leora?" Elara considered the question carefully before responding. "I trust her expertise and her dedication to uncovering the truth. In our line of work, that's all I can ask for." Kale seemed satisfied with her answer, though Elara knew he would continue to watch for any signs of dissent or deceit. The bridge fell into a routine rhythm as they drew closer to their destination, each officer focused on their tasks with unwavering precision. Outside, the stars continued their silent vigil, indifferent to the conflicts playing out across the galaxy. Hours passed in tense anticipation until finally they reached orbit around the remote planet. Its surface was a patchwork of jagged mountains and dense forests, rivers cutting through the landscape like veins. "Prepare for descent," Elara ordered, her voice carrying authority and calm. "This is where things get interesting." The team assembled in the hangar bay, clad in sleek armor designed for both protection and mobility. Plasma rifles were checked and double-checked, each piece of equipment meticulously prepared for whatever awaited them below. As they boarded the shuttle that would take them to the surface, Elara caught Kale's eye. His expression was one of determination, tempered by an undercurrent of uncertainty. "Remember," she said quietly, "we're not just fighting for ourselves out there. We're fighting for everyone who depends on us to make it back." Kale nodded, his resolve solidifying at her words. "We'll do whatever it takes." The shuttle descended through the atmosphere with a controlled grace that belied the tension inside. The roar of engines filled the cabin as they broke through clouds and emerged over a sprawling forest. The landing was smooth, and as they disembarked onto alien soil, Elara took a moment to survey their surroundings. The air was thick with humidity and the scent of unfamiliar flora, a stark contrast to the sterile environment of space. Dr. Leora Kale joined them shortly after, her equipment slung over one shoulder as she moved with purpose toward the nearest ruin. "This way," she instructed, leading them through dense undergrowth toward their objective. Elara followed closely, her senses alert for any sign of danger. The forest was alive with sound, creatures calling to one another in an alien symphony. But beneath it all lay an unmistakable tension. As they approached the ruins, Leora paused to study an inscription carved into stone. Her fingers traced ancient symbols with reverence before she began speaking softly into her recorder. Elara watched her work with appreciation, each discovery bringing them closer to understanding what lay hidden here. "Commander," Leora called out suddenly, drawing Alara's attention back from her thoughts. "What is it?" Leora gestured toward an entrance partially obscured by vines, an archway leading into darkness beyond. "I believe this is where we need to go," she explained calmly, despite excitement coloring her voice. Elara nodded decisively. There would be no turning back now. They entered cautiously, plasma rifles at ready, as shadows swallowed them whole within ancient corridors steeped in mystery, yet heavy with history's weight upon their shoulders. In those moments between breaths echoing off stone walls long abandoned by time itself, Elara knew without doubt. Victory hinged not only upon strategy, but trust forged amidst chaos embrace, and secrets kept hidden even from oneself, until truth demanded revelation against all odds, faced head-on together side by side, unwaveringly steadfast till end, met beginning anew once more unto dawn's breaking light beyond horizon, still unseen, yet felt deeply within heart, beating strong, ever onward, onward evermore. The command deck of the Coalition starship Resolute was a symphony of controlled chaos. Lights blinked in rhythmic patterns across the consoles, each representing a different aspect of the ship's operations. The hum of machinery was a constant backdrop, punctuated by the occasional beep and chirp of incoming data streams. Commander Elara Voss stood at the center, her gaze fixed on the holographic display that projected the galaxy in 3 dimensions before her. "Lieutenant Rin, report," she commanded, her voice steady amidst the noise. Lieutenant Kale Rin glanced up from his station, his fingers dancing over the console with practiced ease. "We're holding position at the edge of the system, Commander. No sign of Xel'Naga patrols yet, but we should remain on high alert." Elara nodded, her eyes narrowing slightly as she processed the information. The Xel'Naga were nothing if not unpredictable. "Maintain stealth protocols. We can't afford to be detected." Kale's response was a curt nod, his focus already shifting back to the myriad of data scrolling across his screen. He was a man of precision, every movement calculated and deliberate. It was one of the reasons Elara valued him so highly, his ability to sift through chaos and find clarity. "Commander," Kale added, his tone cautious, "I've been reviewing our communication logs. There's been some unusual traffic patterns. Could be nothing but—" Elara turned to face him fully, her expression unreadable. "You suspect interference?" "Possibly. I'm running diagnostics now, but it could also be someone masking their transmissions." The implication hung heavy between them. In a galaxy rife with deception, trust was a rare commodity. Elara felt the familiar weight of suspicion settle over her shoulders, a constant companion in these turbulent times. "Keep me updated," she instructed, her voice betraying none of the unease that churned within her. She turned back to the holographic display, her mind already racing through potential scenarios. Moments later, Dr. Leora Kale entered the command deck, her presence a stark contrast to the military precision surrounding her. Clad in the utilitarian garb of a scientist, she carried an air of quiet determination that belied her scholarly appearance. "Elara," Leora greeted with a nod, bypassing formal titles as was their custom in private settings. Her eyes flickered to the display, taking in the strategic layout with practiced ease. "I've completed my analysis of the artifact's inscriptions." Elara gestured for Leora to join her at the central console. And Leora's gaze was intense, filled with the kind of fervor only a true academic could muster. "The inscriptions confirm what we suspected. The artifact is indeed a relic of the ancients. But there's more. It's part of a larger network of devices, each designed to amplify energy." Elara absorbed this information in silence, her mind already weaving it into their broader strategy. "And its potential capabilities? Theoretically?" Leora hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "If activated in conjunction with the other devices, it could harness enough power to alter gravitational fields on a planetary scale." A heavy silence fell over the command deck as those within earshot processed the implications. Such power could easily tip the balance in favor of whoever wielded it, a fact not lost on any of them. "We need to secure it before anyone else does," Elara said finally, breaking the silence with a resolve that brooked no argument. Her eyes met Leora's, gratitude mingling with urgency. "Your work is invaluable, Leora." The scientist offered a small smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Just doing my part." As Leora returned to her research station, Kale approached Elara once more, his expression unreadable. "Commander, about those logs, I've traced some discrepancies back to our own communications officer." Alara's heart skipped a beat, though she showed no outward reaction. "You're suggesting we have a mole?" "I'm suggesting we have someone who might be passing information," Kale replied cautiously. "I need more time to confirm." "Time is a luxury we don't have," Elara replied tersely, though she knew he was right. The thought of betrayal gnawed at her insides like acid. Kale hesitated before speaking again, his voice barely above a whisper. "What do you want me to do?" Elara considered her options carefully. Trust was fragile here. One wrong move could shatter it beyond repair. Yet doing nothing wasn't an option either. "Keep investigating discreetly," she decided at last. "But if you find anything concrete, bring it to me immediately." Kale nodded once more, his expression grim as he returned to his station. Alone with her thoughts for a moment, Elara allowed herself a rare moment of vulnerability. The weight of command was heavier than ever, a burden she bore willingly but not without cost. She steeled herself once more and turned back to the holographic display. There was still much to do and little time in which to do it. As the Resolute continued its silent vigil at the edge of hostile space, Elara felt the shadows of deception closing in around her like an invisible noose tightening with every passing moment. And somewhere out there amidst those stars lay not just answers, but perhaps salvation too, if only they could reach it in time. The metallic tang of recycled air filled the command center aboard the Coalition flagship, the Resolute. Commander Elara Voss stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the holographic display charting their course through the dark expanse of space. The stars were distant, silent witnesses to humanity's desperate bid for survival. She exhaled slowly, suppressing the anxiety that threatened to breach her calm exterior. "How long until we reach the target coordinates?" Elara asked, her voice steady. Lieutenant Kale Ryn, seated at the tactical console, glanced up from his array of screens. 2 hours, Commander. We'll drop out of hyperspace just beyond the planet's orbital defenses." Elara nodded, her mind already calculating their next moves. The remote planet where the artifact was discovered lay ahead, a world shrouded in mystery and danger. Securing it meant navigating not only hostile terrain but also the complex web of allegiances and deceit that had ensnared them all. "Kale," she said, turning to face him fully, "I need you to prepare a detailed analysis of potential enemy movements once we're on the ground. The Xel'Naga won't give us a warm welcome." Kale met her gaze with his usual composed demeanor. "Understood. I'll have it ready before we arrive." Their eyes held for a moment longer than necessary, an unspoken understanding passing between them. Kale was not just her tactical analyst. He was her confidant in this unraveling chaos, yet Even with him, trust was a fragile thing. "Commander," Kale began, hesitating slightly. "About the intel we intercepted, there's something off about it." Elara arched an eyebrow. "Go on." "It's almost too perfect," he continued, frowning at his screen. "Like someone wanted us to find it. I'm concerned it might be a trap." The possibility gnawed at Elara's thoughts like an insidious parasite. The idea that their every move could be anticipated by the enemy was a chilling prospect. She leaned closer, lowering her voice to a whisper. "You think we have a mole?" Kale hesitated again, his eyes flickering with doubt and determination. "It's a possibility we can't ignore." Elara's stomach tightened, her mind racing through memories of past conversations and interactions with her team. Each one suddenly felt suspect, tainted by the shadow of betrayal. "Keep digging," she instructed firmly, "but tread carefully. We can't afford to tip our hand." Kale nodded, returning his focus to the display as Elara straightened, her expression hardening into resolve. The ship shuddered slightly as it prepared for hyperspace exit, and Elara turned her attention back to the mission ahead. The cost of victory weighed heavily on her shoulders, but it was a burden she had borne before and would bear again. As they emerged from hyperspace, the planet loomed before them, a mass of swirling clouds and jagged mountain ranges visible even from orbit. Elara tapped a control on her wrist communicator, opening a channel to the entire strike team. "All units, prepare for descent," she commanded, her voice echoing through the corridors of the Resolute. "We touch down in 15 minutes. Stay sharp and watch each other's backs." The descent was swift and silent, their landing craft slipping through the atmosphere cloaked in stealth technology. As they broke through the cloud cover, the alien landscape unfolded below, vast forests stretching like emerald carpets between towering peaks. The landing was smooth, and Elara led her team out onto the surface. The air was thick with tension, every rustle of leaves or distant animal call a reminder of their precarious situation. Dr. Leora Kale joined them, her presence a beacon of calm amidst uncertainty. Her expertise in alien ecosystems would be crucial in deciphering the clues left by ancient civilizations here. "Leora," Elara called as they regrouped near a cluster of ruins partially hidden beneath dense foliage. "What can you tell us about this site?" Leora crouched beside a crumbling stone column etched with intricate symbols, her fingers tracing the patterns with practiced precision. "These markings are consistent with several known extinct species," she replied thoughtfully. "But there's something unique here, an amalgamation of styles suggesting a convergence of cultures." Elara considered this, weighing its implications against their mission objectives. "Could it indicate why this artifact is so sought after?" "Possibly," Leora answered, rising to meet Elara's gaze. "If these civilizations came together for a common purpose, it's likely tied to whatever power this artifact holds." Before Elara could respond, Kale's voice crackled over their comm system. "Commander, we've got movement, 2 clicks west of our position." Elara's instincts sharpened instantly. "Xel'Naga?" "Unclear," Kale replied tersely. "But they're heading our way fast." "All units, defensive positions," Elara ordered without hesitation. Her team sprang into action, rifles at the ready as they took cover among the ruins. The seconds stretched into eternity as they waited in silence, hearts pounding in rhythm with the distant thrum of approaching footsteps. Finally, figures emerged from the trees, humanoid but unmistakably alien in their armor's sleek lines and glowing visors. Xel'Naga scouts. Elara signaled silently to her team, motioning for them to hold fire until given the order. They couldn't risk drawing more attention than necessary. The scouts paused at the edge of the clearing, scanning their surroundings with mechanical precision. Elara held her breath, willing them to move on without noticing her team's presence. But fate was not so kind. A twig snapped underfoot as one scout shifted its weight. A sound barely audible, but enough to trigger suspicion in their hyper-alert minds. Elara reacted instantly. "Engage!" she shouted over comms. The clearing erupted into chaos as plasma bolts lit up the air like deadly fireworks. Elara moved with practiced efficiency, directing her team with precision while picking off targets with lethal accuracy. The skirmish was brief but intense, a testament to both sides' training and determination. When the dust settled, only silence remained once more. "Status report," Elara demanded breathlessly over comms. "We're clear," Kale confirmed after a moment's pause. "No casualties." Relief washed over Elara like cool rain after a storm, but it was short-lived as reality reasserted itself. This battle had been won, yet their war raged on unabated around them. As they regrouped amid scattered debris and fallen foes' bodies cooling rapidly under alien skies above them all, lay one undeniable truth. Victory always came at great cost, and sometimes even greater questions lingered unanswered, still within hearts weary from too much fighting already endured, alone together here now once again. Elara turned back toward Leora, who stood quietly observing everything unfold around her, with eyes full knowledge gained through years spent studying secrets hidden deep within universe itself, waiting patient discovery someday soon, perhaps if only could find way, unlock mysteries kept safe until then. Let's move out. She instructed firmly yet gently enough, convey both urgency, necessity, pressing forward despite any doubts, fears still lingering beneath surface, thoughts unspoken, shared between friends, all eyes come round, common cause greater than themselves alone, ever could hope achieve otherwise, apart separate paths crossed, intertwined destinies, forever altered course, history unfolding before every eyes, witnessing first-hand costs paid dearly, every step taken toward uncertain future unknown, yet somehow strangely familiar all same. Asked the trekked deeper into Heartwild, untamed land surrounding them all around, seemed echo Mori's past lives lived long ago, faraway places forgotten, except whispers carried wind rustling, leaves branches swaying, gently breeze caressing skin, reminding everyone present here today, tomorrow. Always follows yesterday, whether ready-faced challenges await beyond horizon, beckoning onward, onward, ever onward toward ultimate goal, elusive peace, hard won, dearly cherished, never taken granted lightly again.